You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 4th of June. Venezuela's president meets PM Modi to boost cooperation. Marco Rubio says India-US trade deal weeks away. And Pakistan delays budget amid unresolved IMF issues. And now for all the details. Venezuelan acting President Delcy Rodriguez met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi on Thursday during her 5-day visit to India, with both sides discussing ways to strengthen cooperation in energy, trade, investment, healthcare and other key sectors. The visit came at a time when India has been looking to diversifying its energy supplies amid ongoing disruptions in global oil markets. PM Modi held wide-ranging talks with President Rodriguez, reviewing the full spectrum of ties and exploring new avenues for cooperation. The two leaders also exchanged views on regional and global developments and reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening bilateral ties and advancing the interests of the global south. Earlier in the day, Rodriguez met India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar and paid tribute to Mahatma Gandhi at his memorial in New Delhi. Her visit assumes significance as India seeks to secure alternative crude supplies amid impact on global energy routes. India resumed imports of Venezuelan oil earlier this year following the easing of US sanctions. India imported about 427,000 barrels per day of Venezuelan crude in May, making it the second largest buyer after the United States. And testifying before the House Foreign Affairs Committee, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has announced that Washington and New Delhi are now just weeks away from wrapping up a highly anticipated comprehensive trade agreement. Speaking to lawmakers on Wednesday, Rubio confirmed that negotiators are putting the final touches on a massive bilateral trade agreement. Meanwhile, U.S. Ambassador to India Sergio Gore backed up Rubio's statements and revealed that 99% of the deal is officially locked in. The US-India trade deal is expected to cover critical tariff reductions, supply chain cooperation and geopolitical commitments following recent friction regarding import tariffs and purchases of Russian oil.
The Quad, an important alliance in the Indo-Pacific between India, Japan, Australia. We've had multiple meetings of that group, including a meeting just last week in India and a follow-up that's going to occur later this year, including a leaders meeting before the end of the year.
And we're very optimistic. Look, we're 99% there. The last 1% we're working on. To put it into perspective, we've been working on this deal for a year and a half. The European Union deal with India took almost 19 years to get done. And so we're very optimistic that this will get done. You have two like-minded partners, the United States and India, that want to get this done. And the incredible thing about this is it will be a win-win situation for both of our countries, and we're very excited to get that across the finish line.
This comes as an American trade delegation led by Assistant U.S. Trade Representative Brendan Lynch concluded discussions in New Delhi on Thursday. Indian investments into the U.S. have reached a record $20.5 billion, while American tech giants continue to pour billions into India's digital landscape. Following a recent 30-nation ministerial meeting, Washington is spearheading an initiative called the Pax Silica, a 14-country coalition designed to secure supply chains for rare earth materials and end global reliance on Beijing. Moving on. Pakistan has postponed the presentation of its federal budget for the 2026-27 fiscal year from June 5th to June 10 amid unresolved negotiations with the International Monetary Fund, raising fresh concerns over the country's fiscal planning and economic management. Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar announced the revised date on Wednesday, while government sources indicated that key fiscal measures are yet to be finalized with the IMF. The delay highlights the challenges Islamabad continues to face in securing agreement on crucial economic measures under its IMF-backed reform program. Pakistan remains dependent on a $7 billion IMF bailout package that has helped stabilize the economy following years of financial distress. However, The latest postponement underscores the extent to which ongoing negotiations continue to shape the government's budgetary decisions. The Pakistan government has given no reason for the delay. The parliamentary session scheduled for June 5th will, however, proceed. This comes as the US-Iran conflict has also impacted fuel costs in Pakistan, subsequently worsening inflation and putting additional pressure on household budgets. Pakistan's annual consumer price inflation rose to 11.7% in May, up from 10.9% in April, marking its highest level in 2 years. Moving on. Political activist Amjad Ayub Mirza has called on India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to intervene and raise voice for residents of POJK and Gilgit-Baltistan. The activist alleges rights violations, political repression, and growing economic hardship in the occupied territories.
Exiled political activist from POJK, Amjad Ayub Mirza, has appealed to India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to intervene on behalf of residents of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir and raise concerns over alleged rights abuses in POJK and Gilgit-Baltistan at international forums and support democratic rights and civil liberties. Mirza claimed political and civil rights activists in Pakistan-occupied Gilgit-Baltistan are also facing arrests and detentions. He said several members of the Awami Action Committee have been jailed, calling it an attempt to suppress demands for political and economic rights ahead of a general strike announced for June 9th.
Modi ji, I urge your government to engage with the concerns of the people of POJK and POGB. Raise issues relating to political rights and democratic freedoms through appropriate channels and act in a manner consistent with Bharat's constitutional values and historical commitments as your government understands them.
Mirza highlighted economic and humanitarian challenges in the region, citing protests by health workers in POJK as a sign of public frustration. He said unemployment, economic hardship, and political grievances have worsened living conditions.
For decades, many of these territories have felt unheard, politically marginalized, and tapped in a prolonged conflict of not their own making. There are voices that continue to appeal to Bharat, believing that the people of the region remain tied to constitutional and historical legacy of the original accession. Prime Minister Modi ji, the question many ask is simple yet very painful. How much longer must generations continue to live amid uncertainty before our voices are heard, acknowledged, and our aspirations meaningfully addressed?
Nepal's ruling Rastriya Swatantra Party chairperson Rabi Lamichhane on Wednesday met India's top leadership, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, and Foreign Minister Jaishankar in New Delhi to foster ties and discuss developments and security partnerships. Terming Nepal a priority partner under India's Neighbourhood First policy, PM Modi emphasized a shared and prosperous future. Meanwhile, Amit Shah congratulated the RSP chief on their recent electoral success, reinforcing India's firm resolve to strengthen bilateral ties. As part of his 5-day tour, the RSP delegation will also interact with the Nepali diaspora in India and visit the cultural and religious hub of Ayodhya. As the diplomatic momentum continues, Nepal's Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal is also expected to arrive in India later this week. But this visit comes amid recent controversial remarks by Nepal's Prime Minister Balendra Shah. The new Kathmandu government led by Balendra Shah has slammed custom duties on imported Indian goods worth over 100 Nepali rupees. Furthermore, the long-standing Kalapani Limpiadhura Lipulek border dispute was recently reignited, prompting India's foreign ministry to reject any third-party interference. Moving on. Exiled Tibetan spiritual leader the Dalai Lama on Wednesday received a Grammy Award during a special ceremony at his residence in India's Dharamshala, marking another international recognition of his message of peace. The award was presented by renowned Indian Sarod maestro Ustad Amjad Ali Khan. The Grammy was awarded for the spoken word album Meditations, the reflection of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, which features the Tibetan spiritual leader's reflection on inner peace, compassion, and the pursuit of a meaningful life. The honor was originally announced at the 68th Grammy Awards held in Los Angeles earlier this year. The Grammys is considered among the most prestigious awards in the global music industry, recognizing excellence across a range of artistic categories. The 14th Dalai Lama has lived in exile in India since 1959 after fleeing Tibet with thousands of Tibetans following a failed uprising against Chinese rule. From Dharamshala, he has spent decades advocating a non-violent middle way approach that seeks genuine autonomy and religious freedom for Tibetans. Widely regarded as a global symbol of peace and non-violence, the Dalai Lama was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989 for his efforts to promote peaceful solutions and human values. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Till then, good night.